Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show. A little more light there. Alrighty, and so we do have audio. And so let's get going. Get going. All right. Maybe today will be the day for dementia to take over, but no, it's not. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, not just some guy on YouTube talking. Certified financial coach, actually, by Ramsey Solutions. For more of my financial content, you just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. And so between them, there's, let's see, today's number 487 and 137. So you do the math on that. So that is over 510, something like that. And the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs on there. 2 new songs debuting live on the 500th show, which is coming up in 13 shows. How about that? Market report. So, mostly down today. Dow Jones up though, and again, this would be why you diversify, why you don't just put money into single stocks or just the S&P 500. Need to diversify. What else do we want to talk about? Want to see what the rest of the world is looking like. Mostly down in Europe, mostly down in the Asia. The US dollar, the euro's up against the US dollar, yen up against the dollar, the British pound low up against the US dollar up though against the Canadian dollar, sorry, and the Australian dollar said nar to the US dollar and is up over that. What we got for futures, down, but it was also down today. Again, Nasdaq up the futures for tomorrow, and it was, but everything was down for today when we did the show yesterday. So anything can change on that. What do we have? Oh, we have the, let's check these before we check the earnings. Let's check the most followed single stocks on the Google, and Amazon.com is the highest of those at 0.042%. In the green is good, especially on a day like today. So we had the Home Depot and Intuit today, and Salesforce and NVIDIA tomorrow. So again, NVIDIA could lead to a big pop or even make it even go down more. We'll see. Hoping for that big pop. But the idea is to not be upset either way, because we're playing the long game, and in the long game, we win. Did I close that? I sure did. I closed. All right, so we'll do the Intuit first, since that one is opening. And so they reported at the end of the day at 4 p.m. and you can see it immediately did a little pop right at the end, and then again, and some volatility there as people can't decide what they're doing. And you also get people that see it bounce up to here and they bought it down there, and so they'll just say, okay, I will take that money and lock in those gains. These would be day trader type people, and it happened again here. And then when it gets, a couple people sell and people see that going down, then more people buy or sell rather. and it goes down further, and then when it gets about here, somebody says, okay, that's too low. That can't be out there too low. I got to buy. And it could be all computers just doing this for auto selling, auto buying. And so you can see what it is, and it is 6.52%. And it says Intuit reports strong second quarter results and reiterates full year guidance. So they're hanging on to what they're going to make for the next quarter and even the fourth quarter. They're hanging on to that, and apparently it's supposed to be good. So that's all good news. And unlike sometimes where you can have all good news from a report, but still the stock drops for some reason because traders are nutty. Happens. Let's see, what else do we want to do? Oh, we wanted to see the Home Depot. And that, I got that from My Name is Earl, a TV show. I do know it's pronounced Depot, just in case you were wondering. And that has been up all of today since that came out this morning, though, actually. And that was beat Wall Street estimates as retailer breaks comparable sales. Okay, and what is it? Home Depot stock rises after earnings. Guidance disappointed, though. So I guess they think, okay, well, we might not make that much money next quarter, but still up over in the after hours trading here. Or no, up for the day. It stayed up for the day and looks like it's sitting like right at that point and not going down in the after hours trading. All right. So this from yesterday, finishing up on some, or touching up on yesterday's. What up, Aslan? Started talking about HSA, and I had some questions about it because I don't know everything about all of these different types of accounts. I do know you can use it. You have to have a high deductible insurance health plan before you can qualify for this, but also it is tax advantage, so you can use it as an additional way to save for retirement. And so let's see, we wanted to know the key takeaways: allow you to pay for qualified medical expenses using pre-tax income, which could save you money on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. That's right. Unlike comparable savings plans such as flexible spending accounts with health reimbursement arrangements, you can continue using your HSA to pay for medical expenses after you leave your job. You can only get the HSA if you have high deductible. They do have the tax advantages. And if you are using it for another investment vehicle, once you turn, it's in here somewhere probably. I think it's if you turn 65, there's no taxes on money taken out of it, even gains. Let's see. So you can take the HSA with you when you leave your job. Works alongside other investment accounts. 1 in 5 readers say this might be a different thing. Would put an extra $10,000 into stocks, I guess. And so that's what they're saying here. And then lower percentage amount for ETFs and index funds and high yield. No managed funds. Nope. Doesn't say I have a different part for managed funds. The disadvantages of HSA may help offset healthcare costs, but it may not be the best solution for everyone. And you can't get it without a high deductible health plan. And most of the value of HSA comes from contributing a lot of cash. All right. In 2025, you can put up to $4,300 in your HSA if you're single, or $8,550 if you have a family. They never expire. You can use money anytime, even years later. However, maximizing your contributions mean you might have less money for other investments, including retirement accounts and cash savings. Right. And some of those you wouldn't put ahead of doing the HSA. Or you wouldn't do the HSA instead of doing some of those. HSA alternatives, how to make the most of it. 65-year-old retiring this year can expect to spend an average of $165,000 on healthcare and medical expenses throughout retirement. That's a lot. That's too much. But that's going to happen when you get old. I think that's about everything we wanted to talk about here. So yeah, you can use it for medical expenses whenever, but in order to like completely liquidate it, it would have to be, I don't know if you can take contributions out of it either. So that would be another thing to look up, and maybe I'll remember to do that tomorrow. If you can take contributions out of it without any kind of penalty whatsoever. What up, Sid? We are at reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, and this group is run by fans and not by Ramsey Solutions. If you want a group run by Ramsey Solutions, that would be over on the Facebook, and that would be called the Ohio State University. That would be called the Ramsey Baby Steps Community is the name of that. If it's named anything else, it's not run by Ramsey Solutions. And last time I checked, there were 3 dating Facebook groups, Ramsey dating Facebook groups on there as well. Of course, none of those run by the company either, just run by fans. BCR-Able 1. How are the mortgage rules possible? Well, how about we read it? We do a new thing today. We'll read it first, at least for this one. Recently moved and considering buying a home. Home prices in my area are, not is, approximately $500,000. With 10% down, I'm looking at $4,000 payment and interest with 15 years. With insurance, $200, HOA $150, and property tax $500. The monthly housing payment comes to $5,000. Okay, to meet the 25% rule, I need to take home $20,000 monthly, and that is $450,000 annually with tax and retirement savings. I'm debt free and have a decent paying job, but nothing close to that number. Is the math wrong somewhere, or you actually have to make $450,000 to afford a $500,000 home? No, you do not, but you do have to save for a higher down payment to take your mortgage down to the level where it is 25% of your take-home pay. So you do have to do that, or you could live slightly out of that area, and like where your city starts to become the sticks, and move in there, that kind of thing, where the house is cheaper, or maybe you don't buy as expensive a house. That's also something you can do. So yes, they are possible. It all depends on what limitations you're putting on yourself. Also, if you recently moved, if it's to another state and you're not familiar with that state, you would not buy another house immediately once you get there. Rent for a year there, and then you decide if you want to stay there. So yes, it's possible, and this will be another thing that people will say Dave is out of touch on. No, he's not. Just because things are more expensive and you want them doesn't mean that he's out of touch with how much you should spend on stuff as a percentage. Coffee is air. I don't know about that. 1986. I don't think this is what 0 means. All right. Ominous. because we don't want to get our minds blown here with some kind of math thing. Let's see. Since has so much headache today. Have you been getting your daily allotment of caffeine, Sid? Or are you trying not to drink so much? Or any? Can't remember if you aren't having any pap, as we say here in the Midwest. This is who? Oh, coffee. Well, I just said that already. One bank account has $11.75 and the other has $16.83. Okay. Decided after listening to the show once again, after years, to finally just be done. Okay, you mean with debt and being dumb with money? That is a good idea. So I think it's so funny that I started listening and didn't actually get to hear Dave until this week. Okay, it's been cool getting to know all the personalities though. All right. Yep, he's the owner, and when you're the owner, you can take off whenever the heck you want to. And of course, just because he's not on the show doesn't mean he's not doing work for Ramsey Solutions. Anyways, decided to stop the cards and really do what we could to figure this out. Okay. Mortgage paid by the skin of our teeth. Stupid California DMV tag, $611. What? I think we found the problem. And it's a particular state. Let's see. Went to the doctor and knew diabetic script is $200. Metformin doesn't work. That's $4. Let's see. Okay, DoorDash it is. Okay, returned some stuff and hustled. And after lots of figuring, here we are. I'm so proud, LOL. Great. Tomorrow is a payday, and I feel like we got this. Right? Yes, I'm very well aware that we need a bigger buffer, and zero base does not mean drain it like this, but I still feel accomplished. All right, well, cool. That turned out better than I thought it was. But yeah, that the zero base budget doesn't mean at any given time you have $0 in your checking account. Like you would need to keep in there however much you need it to make it to the next paycheck at a minimum. But the zero-based budget means that every cent you make, you just have a designated area where that's going to go into, a designated place. Like it's going to go to this debt, and then of course all the minimums on the other debt. Well, first all the minimums to the debt, and then once you get done with all expenses for the month, then anything left over should be going to it, but that doesn't mean you send it and have zero in your checking account. So you can, wait 2 weeks and do it. You can, when you get the next paycheck, you can send the excess to the lowest debt, that kind of thing. Sarah here now, frequent poster on here. Parents on the baby steps, some advice, please. My daughter wants to go to gymnastics classes. When I was a high earner, she did, and they cost $60 per class. I have no debt, a good pension pot, and a small investment pot. I wouldn't keep money in a pot. I would put it in the market instead. However, I'm earning a lot less and have a very high level of rent and bills, so I'm trying to save as much as I can. Do you guys spend money on extracurriculars? I'm sure some do, and I'm sure some spend way too much. But this is what we call, a little thing we call adulting. #adulting. And so you don't have to give the babies everything they want to do, or even everything you think they want to do. A lot of times parents think their kids want to do sports and all that other stuff, but sometimes they don't do it, and maybe just doing it because you want them to. And so, but they will still live, and they will still be fine human beings, even if you can't afford travel baseball, for example, which is any travel sport is very expensive. So, and on baby steps 1, 2, and 2, that would be, you have to become Australian. and just say, nah, not doing that. You know, and if the kid really wants to go, might be upset for a while. But that's the way it goes. That's the hard part of adulting. Zomnix. Is it possible to do manual underwriting for auto loan? Oh, I hope not. I know the philosophy is to pay cash, but I was curious. I know Ramsey folk say you can do manual underwriting for a home loan, but what about a car loan? I don't know. I mean, it's possible you could get a personal loan just based on your history of paying stuff, maybe. You'd have to do in person with a bank, but I don't think like a particular vehicle financing, I don't think that's going to happen under manual underwriting. But I know they love to loan you way more money than they should. Any lender does. And so it's possible that it does exist. Hope not, though. This is from Far Salamander. I think I've seen this one name before on here. Did the responsible thing with my tax return. I've been lurking for a little while and have known about Dave Ramsey for around the last 10 years. I'm working on paying off my debt right now and was following the steps slightly out of order. I know. Yeah. You're doing it wrong. I'm going to say it anyway, even though you say I know. Because I could never quite get the emergency fund portion down. My tax return hit. I've been pining over a new bed for months. I still had $250 to pay off on one of my credit cards. Still have one more to go before starting on collections payments. Old me would have bought the bed me instant gratification because I've been wanting it and deserve it. Should have put quotes around deserve it. Put the money in my savings and paid off the credit card. $1,100 emergency fund with no fuss. Conversely, I've been sleeping better. Imagine that. Baby step 2 flare. There's more to it, but you get the gist. If you do the baby steps correctly, it works out better for you. Imagine that. And you sleep better. That's what we call, a little thing we call financial peace. Top masterpiece, 3,700. Sid did not say about her headache. For those of you keeping score at home. Advice, retirement pot. So many people talking about pots today. Like, I mean, I get it. It's just like where you, like a different place for money, even if it's in your mind, the place where you're separating out money, like a different bucket or something, anywhere that can hold money. So you just think about that in your head as far as splitting it up, even if it is in the same like high yield savings account or something. But we'll see what this is about. Retirement pot. I got a new permanent job, $44,000, 41 man with 40 lady plus toddler. Fantastic retirement, 10%. Okay. Should be doing 15% of gross income. So I don't know what this 10% means. If it's only 10%, should be higher. What can I do with my £30,000 retirement pot from my previous job? We're on baby step 3, renting, wanting to buy a small house soon, and we're in the bloody UK, and I don't know if you can transfer those. And if you have only 10%, if you're doing 10% into a pension, sorry, that only counts for 5% towards the Ramsey 15%. So you're doing it wrong. But as far as the previous retirement, if that's a pension, I don't know what you would do about moving that, or even if you can. I'm sorry, I don't. Not being from the UK, I don't know. But in America, you could, like a 401k, you could just transfer that over to your new employer, or you could convert it into a Roth IRA. You can do certain things as far as moving it from in the UK. I do not know though. Baby step 3, renting, wanting to buy a small house soon, and we're in the UK. Okay, so you can't do everything all at the same time. But since you are on baby step 3, you would finish up baby step 3. Not with that money probably, because I don't know that you can get the cash from that. If you can get the cash from that without penalty, but I don't think you can you probably have an age limitation before you can get that before it, because I do know the king wants his portion of it, of any gains on that, and so I don't know exactly how that works, but once you finish baby step 3, that would be the only time you would start investing. Granted, some places in the US, some jobs, depending on where you work, they like teachers, it's a requirement that you put money into retirement, and that's not a bad idea. And that kind of thing is what has teachers on the top 5. I think they're number 3 on the top 5 jobs list for millionaires, because your job actually makes you save for retirement. But the problem is pensions don't do as well as the market does, and so that's why they only count for half. So you would want to do 15% of your gross income. And if that's all going into that, 10% is going into pensions, like I said, that's only 5%. So you got to invest 10% more. And that's regardless of the retirement pot from your previous job. And then the problem is you want to buy a small house soon. So what you would do there is you could stop investing for 2 years completely, while you save up a larger down payment faster. So you can do that as well. Also, for the guy that was saying, are these numbers possible? He didn't say in this economy, but might as well have. So, but yeah, what does it say? Are these, how are the mortgage rules possible? It's for you to stop thinking like you're thinking. And you limit yourself to what your income is, not base your what you buy on what you want only. Speaking of mortgage, mundane technology 89. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, not so much an actual headache, but it's a headache to deal with accommodations at work and stuff like that. I got you, Sid. 3 different groups you have to coordinate with. Oh my goodness, so much red tape there. And see, if they could have one person handling this at a company, then they wouldn't have to hire so many people. This one calls me, and this is Sid talking again. This one calls me and tells me to send a form to that one. The other one says they're going to help push things up for me, but my supervisor wasn't even there, so I don't know if they spoke to him at all. Yeah. Heart rate spiked to 150 today when climbing the stairs. Sid, you need to take care of yourself. Make sure you're good. Mundane technology 89, getting into a new mortgage or stay at paid off home. Okay. Well, now the idea is that even when you get into baby step 7, the idea is that you are not constantly trading up for a bigger house. Especially like older people, an older couple whose kids are going to be going off to college and then living on their own after that. Why do you still need a 5-bedroom house for the 2 of you? You don't. So you could move actually down in house and pay for it all in cash. And so the idea is not to constantly have a mortgage. Same thing with car payments. Why do you constantly need to move up in car? as well. So there's more for this. Let's open it up. There's been some short ones so far today. I have 65K left on my 2018 starter home mortgage. I can pay off today and be completely debt free. Ooh, why is it not paid off already? Doesn't say what baby step, so we don't know. There could be non-mortgage debt. They could be, of course, doing it wrong. And that would not be a shocker to anybody. No school loans, car loans, also. No school loans, car can also be paid off. So doing it wrong in a big way there. The issue is that we don't like the layout of our home and the market still sucks. Yeah, we waited 3 years for things to change. Hey, guess what? If you would do the Ramsey advice, you would have already heard, probably, if you watch the Ramsey show or like watch clips or anything, you probably would have heard, oh, hey, guess what? The market might not get better. Houses might not get cheaper. The interest rate might not go down. And so you don't try to time the market. You buy when you can afford it. Is when you buy the house or upgrade. I mean, and that's fine if you want to, if you want to change one house that is the same price or cheaper, that has a better layout for you, that's fine. But you don't have two mortgages at the same time. That's a nar. I don't believe the interest rate or prices going down are going down. Yeah, that's smart. Probably not. The best I could find that suits all of our needs, is at $1 million that suits all of our needs. How many of those are, let me warm up here, don't want to get a cramp in the fingers, that suits up all of our needs? Quotes in there, needs. People overuse the word as far as like any financial situation. The people overuse the word need. Because you don't need to do anything except the four walls. That's all you need to do. Not the layout of those four walls. That's not a need to have the right layout. That's not a need. Would it be dumb to go back into a mortgage, especially this high? Yes. Or would this be a future investment and allow me to build wealth? It might be, but you don't need it. But also, why not move down in house? What is the problem with that? I will probably put current house on rent if I go through with the new one. So because you don't like the layout at one house, that does not automatically mean you should be a landlord. People are nutty with that. Everybody that's moving wants to be a landlord. That is dumb as crap. We'll probably put current house on my fear is being trapped in a mortgage again and slaving away to pay interest. Then don't do that stupid crap then. Would be my advice. Absolutely hate debt. Hey, me too. So I got a great idea then. If you hate debt, why get into it? Why are we even having this conversation? Why are you even typing it in? If you hate debt, that should be the answer. Don't do it anymore ever. Versus never being happy in this home. Wah, the layout, wah. Whiny babies. Stop it. But minimum financial burden. Now, edit. Here's some additional info. Late 30s home. Late 30s. Oh, income 175K. Side income another 75K. Not depending on it for the mortgage. Okay, that's smart. Current mortgage doesn't matter the interest rate. Original cost $375K. Could probably sell for $600K now, and you can't find a house for $600K that has a good layout. See, the problem is the people look at that $1 million one, and why were you even looking at it? at $1 million, I would be saying, I mean, granted, if you put all of, so you got 65, so if you put all, so what, 550 after realtor fees and other stuff, so 550 on that, and then so 65, so like 480 something. So that would be a 600 or so, 600K mortgage. But again, the idea is to be ahead when you make a move like this, not to go back into all that debt, which you said you don't want to do. So I guess you can follow the Ramsey advice for one thing, and for another thing, you can just decide what's the problem. What is more of a problem? The layout of that house, the fact that you don't want to, you probably stopped at the $1 million house. And if you look at pictures of a $1 million house and then look at one for 600,000, I think there would be some differences there. And so you already looked at the 1 million house, so you think you need it. So you need to decide, yeah, what do you hate more, the debt or the layout? Up to you. Okay, so you want to base it off that income, 175. So that's what 175. That is 350, and what was that, 885? So like 335 would be $335,000 is the mortgage. No, it's more than that. Sorry, 350, and then 80 on that would be 430. So 430 mortgage. And so that's how much you would need to put. You need to put down as much as you need to get the probably under 400K would be, if you're going to follow the Dave advice, which you're not doing. And so there possibly could be other Ramsey issues here, like the budget, because there could be a lot of other stuff that this person or couple needs as well, but that is not actually a need. And so probably plenty of stuff to talk about with this person, were he or she a client. But the idea is that you're not constantly going into debt to move up in house, the same way you're not constantly going up into debt, or even constantly, if you're paying cash for a new car, you do not constantly go up and change and get new cars either. So it'll be a nar on that. So, but some information missing, of course. But the whole thing is, it's not a need, you just want it. And if you hate debt, why were you even looking at a $1 million house, and thinking that has to be the one? So, and I don't know that that's the case. Maybe you looked at it with knowing, okay, well, it won't be this one. But see, then the problem is you're only thinking about that one while you're looking at pictures of the other ones. So we'll see. Sid trying to be healthy. Be healthy, but the red tape is keeping her from being healthy. Both seem surprised about her, about you not being accommodated. Yeah, I mean, you would think all these different departments, all these different people working in there, you would think nothing would be this slow and dumb as crap. So, yeah, I feel you, Sid. Speaking about stress and not liking debt, this from Clam Crusher 31. Stressed out about the last bit of debt. Hey y'all, hi guys. Long story short, I went from 105K of debt with no house to just $22,000. Within that debt left is a car worth 15. Okay, would have probably sold that. I have mental health issues from being in the military and have a hard time holding a job. That can be rough for sure. Thank you for your service. I have enough income to pay all of my bills, food, etc., plus around 800 every month from the military, from military related pension. All right. While at my current job, I only had to work until June to be debt free, but I just can't handle it anymore and quit. All right. Well, you need to talk about that with, bring me a counselor about why you did that and what exactly it was that caused that problem. It maybe if it's the type of work, then you get another job that's not that same type of work, that kind of thing. Has anyone here been in a similar type of situation? Did you take a break or continue to go all out? The gazelle intensity was fierce, but the burnout that I got from it is debilitating. So if it's the being gazelle intense, that's one thing. But if it's something specifically relating to that job and you are projecting it onto doing the baby steps and blaming the baby steps and blaming being gazelle about that, that's going to be the advice always on baby steps 1, 2, and 3. Gazelle intensity. Now, if it's going to cause a mental problem for you, then I would probably talk to a counselor about that. But if it's something specific about a job, that has nothing to do with the baby steps or being gazelle intense. That just has to do with that job. And so you have to compartmentalize that. So counseling if you need it, but otherwise get a job that's not like that one that you were at or has that problem. And so, I mean, it could be a combination of both, sure. That the job sucked and also gazelle intensity does wear some people out because they just want to spend money on other stuff or something like that. Who knows? But also you already have these problems from being in the military. Who knows? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Could have anything. There could be any number of situations going on here, and so that's why probably definitely a counselor. But you need to try to separate the feelings and the things that are going on there to see if it needs to be blamed on the baby steps and gazelle intensity, or if there's another thing where it can be blamed on. And then you try to fix it once you realize what the actual problem is. Once again, thanks for your service. Not easy, I'm sure. Redinda Mailman. All right, Redinda Mailman. Because Redinda sounds like like a city in California. Redinda, maybe. Baby step 4 through 6, pay off a house with emergency fund. Well, let's check the baby steps. $1,000, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. It does say pay off your home early, and so if you never caught the fact that you're supposed to use emergency fund for emergencies only, baby steps 1, $1,000, just that much, and you don't add to it. And then when you're baby step 3, you do add to that $1,000, and then you'll have 3 to 6 months of expenses. But it doesn't say anything about, oh, and when you get on step 6, then you can just use it to pay off the mortgage. That is not on there. So that would be a NAR. As you know what you spend the money of emergency funds on? You know what you spend that on? You spend that on emergencies or nothing. Best case scenario, that sits in a regular savings account drawing interest forever and you never have to touch it. That is the best case scenario for that money. Baby step 4, 5, and 6 here. Wife and I have 10.2K left on the mortgage, no kids. So just investing 15% each into retirement. That is the correct thing to do for step 4. Good job. And paying down the house as much as possible. That's also the correct thing to do on step 6. And you're not on step 5 because you don't have to do step 5. It's not applicable to you with no kids. Should we use all of it to pay off the mortgage? No. And replenish emergency fund ASAP? No, you should pay off the house ASAP. You can do that. You can pretend and pay and act like you did that, but instead pretend you're just replenishing the emergency fund instead of paying off the house. If that will make you get your butt into gear faster. So, but no, you would not do that. The emergency fund is there for emergencies, not to get you higher past baby steps. Let's see. ASAP after, or keep the 10K in emergency and stretch it out a few more months. Yes. It's just so tempting as we've been grinding it out to reach baby step 7 since late 2020. I mean, to step in 5 years, less than 5 years even. Yeah, 4.4 years next month. So I mean, that's great that you were able to do that, but people, it's the human condition to not ever be satisfied. That's why the overuse of the word need. But yeah, so we want it now. We want it now. We have the money right there. That's not what it's for, though. It's not for getting you over the last hurdle to baby step 7. That's not what it's for. It's for emergencies. Since we bought the house and we really want to do it in less than 5 years, what are y'all's thoughts? I got a great idea. Are we dumb for feeling this way? Not dumb for feeling like you want to pay off the house quickly. No, that's fine. The dumb part is using the emergency fund for it and thinking about that. We just want to be free. I got a great idea. Sell some crap, work extra for the extra money to pay it off faster. And then based on what this person's answer to that would be, then we would see how much they really want to be done with it. If they don't want to do that, but we just wanted to use money that we already had laying around here, but it's not laying around, it does have a purpose. And so, then we would say, if you really want to be gazelle intense on paying it off, you can be. Just stop spending money on anything else. Do your expenses and put all the rest to the mortgage. Like no eating out and stuff like that. Go back and pretend you're on baby step 2. Whatever you have to do, except rob from the emergency fund. That's a nar. Yeah. So, and again, a little bit of grace, just a little bit of grace, because it doesn't say in the baby steps. Get rid of that and go to there. Yeah, it doesn't say in the baby steps to not do that. But that's why you got to dive in a little bit more to the, did I get rid of the whole thing? I sure did. I thought I had a separate window open. My goodness gracious me. Talk amongst yourselves while I get back there. We sort by new. And we want to go, where were we at? Like 6 days. Some of these will be fun. Actually, I enjoy pretty much all of them. Emergency fund, target savings. And what could be the question about the target savings? Yeah, you go to the target of how much you decided. And this is my favorite thing about that. Some people decide, yeah, we need a 6-month emergency fund, and then all of a sudden some investment comes up, or they have the idea that, we should be making more money on that. We should put some of the emergency fund, or even all of it, into a high yield savings account instead. Okay, and that's, you're being intellectually dishonest with yourself when you do that. Because if you thought you needed a 6-month emergency fund before, you probably still need one. You just getting greedy. Or the whole problem is, while you're in baby step 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 2 especially, it's much more like stressful. It's much more, you're much more engaged because things happen fast. Once you get on baby step 4, things kind of slow down. Even on step 3, they kind of slow down some because you're not working on multiple debts. You're just putting it into emergency fund. All the money's just going into one place, and it gets more boring. And so people are looking for other things to do. And they find investments like that and then decide they don't need to do that. They don't, we can only have a 3-month, and let's put the other one in investing. So that's not advised. Again, if you thought, people, it's their money, it's their life. They can decide to do whatever they want to. And if you have a mortgage, I would certainly suggest a 6-month. But I would, if I were, again, coaching that person, I would say, why did you think you needed a 6-month to begin with? And what has changed about that? So, let's see what to do next. Just turned 40 and got my house paid off. Great. That's a great thing to do by 40 for sure. Also have a portfolio with approximately $400,000 market value. What should I do next, or just keep doing what I'm doing? If you are constantly investing 15% of your gross income out of every check, that's exactly what you should be doing. And you don't need to be doing anything other than that, assuming you also have baby steps 1 through 4 done. It doesn't say no debt, but let's just assume that the person is on baby step 6 and got the house paid off. And so now, just as on baby step 7, build wealth and give. Yeah, you have more, since you're not making a mortgage payment, you can invest that money. If you like, you can invest as much as you want. The big rule in baby step 7 is to not get into any lower baby step. Maybe 3B if you think you need to move up in house and you would have to add a down payment, or not even a down payment. Best case scenario is that you save up all of the extra money than you would get with your other house. So you said approximately value 385 house that you can get from it. And say you wanted to move up for some reason to a 500, maybe you didn't like the layout like the other people. Go up to a 500K house, that kind of thing. So you would save the difference so that you don't have to get a mortgage for that. Also, yeah, again, you don't stop investing just because you get to a certain level. 40K, that's great. Or 400K, that'll generate 40K average a year. And so it just depends on your expenses at that time, in the time of retirement, what that is, whether that's enough. So that's why you would keep adding to that. But it just depends on what you want to do. As far as any other expenditures, if you had something you've been waiting, if you needed to replace a car, then you save up that mortgage payment and put that into a car savings fund. It depends on what you want to do with the money other than just invest it all. Because you do have all those options. You get to baby step 6, you can decide. Even if it's for an expensive toy, you can put that in the budget. But you still should be doing 15% of gross income into retirement. And this is almost started reading it. This is an ad. It says promoted. I want to be promoted. Jacka Snack. All right. UK Dave Ramsey fans, I need UK ISA compliant ETF mutual funds which match Dave's suggestions. I believe that we did this one already. Remind me not to close both of these windows. Sorry, moving stuff around so I don't confuse myself. There we go. So I think we read this one. This questions do sometimes switch. Yeah, boggleheads, right. Use the UK boggleheads. Recommendations. Oh, this is a commenter saying to do that. Okay. Somebody agreed with him. Everybody agrees. Did you click on my link? Okay, so not many people interested in answering that, apparently. That's a shame. It wasn't exciting enough or controversial enough for some people, maybe. Psycho Cupcake 2065. The car payment trap. We caught in a trap. Did I read this one too? Because I remember singing that recently. I don't remember the name Psychic Cupcake though. I was lucky to stumble upon the baby steps several years ago. I think I did this one. Let's see what it is. So now I'm already planning on how I'm going to make extra payments on this car and pay it off. I kind of hate myself for buying the in the first place, though. Well, you can get out of it by selling it. So, my last car, 2008. Yeah, quit it 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think I did talk about this one because I think I said, see if you can still take it back if you have a grace period where you can take it back. Which led me to today and my purchase. It wasn't a purchase, it was financing, wasn't it? I tried to go cheaper, older, but I didn't have enough money, and the bank would only finance newer cars. Yep. So you did it wrong. No debt. This weird deer, 1665. No debt, unsure of what to do next or if the baby steps apply to me. Baby steps apply to everybody. Some people don't like that. Don't like to think about that. Everybody wants to be, I mean, maybe it's, how like everybody thinks they're special because they were told as a kid that they were special, too coddled and stuff like that. And so then you think that like laws don't apply to you and the baby steps aren't laws. They're just a really good idea and you should do it. But you don't have to, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But the baby steps tell you what to do next. They're listed in numerical order for your convenience, so you don't have to try to figure out which one is first. It says it right there, baby step 1. And they apply to everybody. Let's see. Hello, everybody. 30 years old, making 120K approximately pre-tax. Just getting into Dave Ramsey. Well, okay. I have a fully paid off car, rent an apartment, and 30K in my Roth. 30K in the Roth. 13K in brokerage account and a 6-month emergency fund. Okay, if no debt, you're doing, better than most people. And let's say you have a 6-month emergency fund, so that's step 3. So if you don't have any debt, you're fine. Let's see, I only started earning this amount of money, right, 8 months ago. Yeah, struggling. Okay, I was late to getting it when it came to planning my future. Spent the entirety of my 20s gambling my money away. Yep, slots, blackjack, crypto, or spending it on weed. If you still have the crypto and haven't cashed it out, you could cash that out. Really wish I'd been maxing my Roth. Sure. Wishes, if wishes were fishes, we'd all swim. So you can't go back in time. So you got to start with today and do things right today and undo any of the dumb crap that you did before. Thankfully blessed with good family who put up with his S for so long and let me live rent free. Yeah, that I mean, basically that kind of thing a lot of times just enables instead of helps. I know I should buy/save for a house, but it just feels like, for me, a waste without a family. And the average house in my area is about 400. No, you can rent. It's fine. I'd really like a multi-family property, but I crunched the numbers and it would be a few years before I could afford a down payment. Why? So you can rent the other half. Don't do dumb crap like that. So my question is, what should I do? Baby steps don't really apply to me. That's false. Baby steps apply to everybody. Why doesn't it apply to you? You think because you live with parents? You think because you rent The baby steps don't say you have to buy a house. It's if you do buy one, you do pay it off early. So I don't know why you think you do. I like David, enjoy watching the YouTube videos. They keep me from doing dumb stuff and living outside my means. But I just feel like, for me, lost and directionless for what my future should look like, I pretty much just work 24/7, work from home, on call type of job. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with working. Lord loves a working man. Any advice is greatly appreciated. Guess I just feel like, for me, it's too many feelings from the kids today. Rudderless with my financial future and just robotically saving. Okay, well, I mean, that's the best thing to robotically do, because you're not robotically spending it. So that's better than that. But the problem is, if you looked at this and you thought, oh, well, I have to buy a house. No, that's not one of those steps. You don't have to buy a house. You can rent forever. So if you don't have any kids, if you are investing, which you are, it should be at least 15% of your gross income into retirement, but not having a mortgage and not having kids, you're on step 7. Congratulations. So they do apply to you. You're just done with all of them. But step 4 lasts forever. So you should always be doing 15%. With the exception, you can have 2 years off of that and invest nothing or any balance that you would like, if you would like to save for a larger down payment faster. So that would be up to you. The baby steps do apply to you, and you may not think they do just because you're done with them. So you did those already. So, and good job on that. But again, what to do next depends on, if you want a house, you can buy a house. You may have to save for a down payment for a very long time. Who knows? Depending on your area. Or if you're fine renting, that's great. Now you're just building wealth and giving. So you can invest more than the 15%. If you think you're behind in your retirement, max that for Roth IRA. And if you have a option for a 401k, do that. Roth, if that's available. Otherwise, just like the Roth should be maxed out before you put any money into a brokerage account. Because brokerage account, you're taxed on it after you make it, and when the gains come out of the account. So you're taxed on both ends of the brokerage account. And so that's why you would max out the Roth or the 401k first before you would be investing extra. But now all you have to do is invest, and it's up to you whether you want to buy a house or not. Not required. So, and again, that does happen to some people where, like the person before, it could be that, you're just busy and you have stuff to do. There's always something to do, and there's always an upcoming step. But the problem is, if you're on step 7, there's not an upcoming step, and people don't treat like step 4 like that's always in front of you. That should be 4 and part of step 7. And then if you want to get a house, then you would slide back down into step 3B, which is between 3 and 4. And so that's when you would start saving for a house. But people, once they get into the higher steps, things move a lot slower and you don't have as much to do. And so you might not think you're doing anything, but you are, as long as you're doing step 4 and addressing 5 and 6 if they apply to you, but they don't for this person. So you can just invest. If you invest it all, if you don't ever want to get a house, if you think you might want to get a house, don't put it all in retirement accounts, because then you got to pay penalties to get it out. So they still apply. You're just done with them all, and I can see your line of thinking, which is what I can't do that for a lot of people's way of thinking, but that one I can see. Didn't get the name on that one. Marcus 206. How we doing? How you doing? How can we improve? Oh, good. Let's see. Both 28 years old, married. Yeah, married. It's from a movie called 16 Candles, John Hughes movie from the 80s. 100,000 combined household income after taxes, both self-employed, total net worth around 250K, not counting business worth 150 to 200K, no debt, fabulous. Fidelity business account total $98,000. Is that retained earnings in that, or is that like a checking account that you have at Fidelity? 70K in 12-month CD. That's a NAR on that. Do high yield savings instead of that. Rest of 28K in Vanguard's S&P 500 index fund, leaving money on the table. 14K in Roth IRA, invested again in the S&P 500, leaving lots of money on the table. Personal so they have high yield savings account as well. People like to, for some reason, spread money around. For some reason, oh, the house for down payment. Oh, this is a 1.4%, and people do that as well, where they will jump through a lot of hoops to earn. In this case, it's 1.4%, so I get this more than if it's like 0.5%, where you would be having different accounts. 125, 12.5K in Bank of America business account. I'm stupid and will transfer some of this soon. Business doesn't have much expenses, many expenses. 9K in different personal savings account. Once again, we need to. I mean, especially the problem, especially with so many accounts, is if it costs you money to save them, and things that will make even free accounts cost you money is if you don't do transactions in them. There can be a fee for that. Just depends on your bank or institution that you have that in. We own one car paid off. 2012 Honda Civic. I know, sweet ride. All right, could be. Total monthly, newer than my car. Total monthly expenses around $22.50. We live in a ghetto apartment. Rent is cheap. We own no real estate. Okay, how's our portfolio looking? How can we improve? Any tips? Welcome. Well, so if you want to buy a house, I would work on that instead of extra investing. Invest 15% of your gross income into retirement, and then all of the rest of this, the different savings and the high yield savings account, and the CD and so forth, which the CD is going to cost you money to, so maybe you leave that out of it unless you're going to buy unless you have 12 months. And then you can save a lot, and actually you can even stop investing at all. The balance is up to you between steps 3 and 3B. Or no, between 3B, 3B, which is not on here, but that's saving for down payment, and step 4, where you invest 15%. And so you can invest nothing for up to 2 years while you save a larger down payment faster. If you don't need to do that, that's fine, but just take most of this other savings that's spread out in every bank in the world. I saw one financial show where the husband said, I have my money put in like all different kind of banks. Actually, no, he didn't say it. The Ramit, I think, is the guy's name, the financial guy's name. And he noticed it, and he asked him why, and he said, well, it seems like it's more money if it's spread all around. No, it doesn't, because I can do math. And so I know that it doesn't add any extra worth to it because it's not in the same bank as the rest of it. So that's pretty dumb. So I do not understand that way of thinking, for example. But I could understand my boy on the last one. Yeah, thank you in advance. Yeah, so I would get on buying a house, because just like the other guy, he thought 3 years ago, he thought house prices and interest rates were going to go down, and that was a NAR, wasn't it? So you're better off buying sooner, probably, most likely. You don't try to time any market not the stock market, not the housing market. You buy when you can afford it, and you can afford it. You just have to move your money out. Like if you don't need that second business account that you're talking about. So I don't know if that's two businesses, like one owned by husband and one by wife, or started by husband and one by wife. I don't know what the breakdown is there, but if you don't need those returned or um, retained earnings, which is business emergency fund, is what that is. If you don't need that, then that's just extra money, and so you can move that also into a um, into the down payment. So a lot of this money you can do, and any of this need to transfer some of this money out to VU. And no, that's not what you do. See, that's another thing, because you have to pay taxes on it both ways, and so you already pay taxes on it with your paycheck. But then, why put it in a in a index fund? Why do that in an index fund? And VU is not where you put the money. VU is just the index fund. It's the Vanguard one that tracks it, and it's no better than any other than Fidelity's S&P 500 index fund or anybody else's. But people love to say their own, and I guess because that's how all the financial bros do it, and so everybody will shout out their index fund. And so, but index funds, you're leaving money on the table, and so that's what I would advise this person to get into, even for retirement investing. If that's just in freaking VU, that would be a nar. And I'm assuming these are just brokerage accounts, and so you wouldn't be doing that until you paid off your house. So the second you decide to start saving a down payment, then you're out of the extra investing business. You're just investing 15% into retirement, and you don't even have to do the 15%. You could do 10%, 5%, or just get the match, or do nothing for 2 years while you save up a larger down payment faster. So I would just say make that decision. And if you are gonna buy a house, I would get on it. I would not be waiting 10 years to buy a house. Or even 5 years. I wouldn't even wait 5 years, because 5 years you could put the down payment into the stock market and use stock market as a piggy bank if it's going to be a 5 year time period. But I would not wait. You don't need to. So if you want a house, you want a house. If you want to live cheaply in the ghetto in an apartment, that's fine. Sweet help 5211 non-Dave advice. Yes, you can get that on here. Not for me, but some people will answer you in a non-Dave way. Oh my goodness gracious me. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Where does the time go? Non-Dave advice. What did I say? Sweet help 5211. Non-Dave advice. I've been following this sub for a while. My wife and I entered baby step 7 this month. Oh, is this the one where they asks? Oh yeah, this one I think I might have read, or is similar to another one, where he wants to know why people are giving non-Dave advice on here. It's because it's the internet. It's a open forum, and you won't believe this, sir or madam. You won't believe this. People go into the into the Ramsey show chat, go into the live chat and give non-Dave advice right on his very channel that he owns. Now, again, this is not run by Dave, and meaning even in the Facebook group that is run by Ramsey Solutions, they don't automatically delete everything that somebody says that is not Dave advice. Too long didn't read TLDR. What is wrong with you people? Yeah, well, people are nutty, and of course they think they know everything and they know the right way to do it. And which you got to expect, because most people are not going to follow the Ramsey advice. They're not going to do the baby steps. So on an open forum, not run by the company, which maybe they don't know it's not run by Ramsey Solutions, but still the internet on a forum, you can type whatever doesn't get blocked out automatically, or that the mods come by and take out. You can put whatever you want in there, and these people allow it on here. They do shut down some conversations that get contentious. Of course, if you get both sides, like if I was in there constantly, saying, no, that's not the way to do it. No, 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 that's not the way to do it. Ramsey says to do this, like that, back and forth with somebody, maybe they might, it probably gets worse than that though, when they shut it down, when they close comments on that particular area. So yeah, that's just the way it goes. Alrighty. I want to thank you so much for watching. Again, Coach Steve Money, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money, and the financial stuff is in the Ramsey Show Aftershow playlist, the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and also the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in it. Again, I am a Ramsey Solutions certified Ramsey coach. Imagine that. And if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial consultation with me at calendly.com/CoachSteveMoney. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com if you have any questions about financial coaching or anything on my channel or anything else on your mind. I don't mind chatting with you a little bit. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney, to CashApp at $CoachSteveMoney, or a Walmart gift card, once again, to CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Also, you can do super chats on the live streams and super thanks on the pre-recorded videos. Upcoming streams, hey, this show, until further notice, the Ramsey Show After Show is Monday through Friday, following each YouTube Ramsey show. And I start at the exact second that they leave YouTube, which is at about 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And so once they are done, then I start the after show. Alrighty. Thanks so much for watching. Again, please subscribe and like. That would be the thumbs up button. And also comment. Much appreciated if you have done any of those things. Much appreciated. Also, if you have watched 1 second of me, I appreciate that, because there's just billions and billions of hours of things to watch online. And so anytime you spend with me, I am, of course, grateful. Alrighty. As always, make smart financial decisions every day.